Okay, we're all just going to listen this way.
Wow, okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll do the best we can. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the Heart Path. And I'll wait till I'm close up there where I can see you.
Anywhere you want. The speaker's right there, so if you guys want to. There you go. Here, we'll bring this closer so we can see you. You can see us.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. It's morning where I am, but this afternoon for you. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you. My name is Thomas Kuster. I'm the founder and the director of the Quantum Evolution. And today we're going to go through what I call the Heart Path. And the outcome, or you could say the intention of the Heart Path, is to have us identify more with our higher self while developing a tremendous amount of compassion for our small, limited self. Now, don't worry, we're going to dig into that concept in a moment, but before we do that, I'd like for you to have some sense of what this work is for. Ideally, we are interested in aliveness. And you know, when I say the word aliveness, it's conceptual. What that means is everybody has their own idea of aliveness, what it means and what it looks like. So before I move on any further, I'd just like to ask those of you that I can see on the screen, do you have any previous education, interaction in the world of heart-based work or transformational work?
Oh. Yeah, I'm a therapist. I have some, but always need more.
Yeah. The only reason I ask is so that I can tailor my language appropriately so everybody's included. That's all. So you've had some things, and then the other, you said you have not. Is that what I understood?
Correct.
Hey, it doesn't make you better or worse, okay? It just helps me to speak it in a way. And Tabetha, you might help me, because sometimes I might say things that in the everyday ordinary way that we speak isn't going to land, you know? And I want to make sure this lands for people.
Absolutely, I'll help you with that.
Yeah, thanks. So this first portion of our being together,
There we go.
This first portion of our being together, we're going to really look at what is aliveness. If I asked you what is aliveness, what are some thoughts that come up right away for you? And I just want you to shout it out. If I said to you, I'm interested in aliveness over here where I am, and I'm interested in aliveness over there where you are, what do you hear? What does aliveness bring up for you? What does it make you think?
Passion.
Passion, very good. What else?
Creating the life I want.
Creating the life I want. One more.
Joy.
Joy, very good. Awesome. So those three things are very important to people, right? Passion's very important to people. Joy's very important to people. And the ability to design the life the way I want it to be is very important to people, right? So as we go through these 7 elements of the Heart Path, does everybody have a handout that shows you the 7 elements? Looks like,
yep, we have them.
Perfect. We're going to first address this thing that we call self. So there's myself, there's yourself, there is just self. And we're going to break this down into two components. Like, for instance, how many of you can right this moment remember times when you were your best self? Like you were really great. You were being great with people. You noticed that nothing got under your skin. It was one of those kinds of day that at the end of the day, you'd say, wow, today I was really my very best self. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yes.
And it doesn't happen every day, does it?
No.
And if I ask you to remember a time that it did happen, it might take some thought to really get there. Well, that is what I'm referring to when I say the higher self. When I say the true self, the higher self, that self does not argue for anything because it's got nothing to win. It doesn't have any interest in being right and making other people wrong. It's more interested in life working, not just for me, but life working for you. And not just for you, but life working for everybody involved. That's the higher self. You can relate to that higher self?
Yes.
So our work, what we're intending today, is that you and I get more identified with that self. Got that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who wouldn't want more of that? Except that we're afraid. What are we afraid of? Any idea?
Failure.
We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of saying, yes, I want to be. It's like people going to church on Sunday and they hear the good news and they think, okay, today I'm going to be that great person. And then they get in the car with their family and that goes to hell. Right? Say, oh my gosh, I'll do better next Sunday. But between now and then, I'm just going to work it out. Well, I want to take that away from you. There's no failure here. Because you see, every time you're not this, what you are is this thing that I'm calling the small self. The small self has limitations. Do you have any idea what its limitations might be? You can look at your notes.
Here. Oh, yeah. Point of view.
Yes. See, the small self gets bogged down by its points of view. It has points of view, and the points of view for that individual are real. Why is it real for that individual? It's real for that individual because they have their experiences. They have their life. They have the thoughts that they have, and given all of that and their history, they see things a particular way, and that is a point of view. And no point of view is wrong as a point of view. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Every point of view is valid as a point of view. Now, a point of view might be wrong when it gets measured to morality, or a point of view might be wrong when it gets measured by society or law or rules. You see, it could be wrong like that. But as a point of view, points of view are all valid. Does this communicate?
Yes.
Perfect. Small self gets dug into its point of view. And when it gets dug in, imagine your own self. Imagine some point of view that you have had that you're dug in about, and it caused an argument. You must defend the point of view. That's what small self does. It feels threatened. It feels like if I'm wrong, I will die. Now, you and I know logically you're not going to die, but that's how it feels. You can relate to that, can't you?
Yes.
Like you feel like if I don't fight and win, I'm going to die. And then we make that real. That's the small self. Now, I can push against the small self. You see me, I'm pushing against. Here's what I want to tell you. You want to write this down. Whatever I push against, I'm stuck to. Another way that you may have heard it said is whatever I resist persists.
Yes.
Okay, so automatically, this is like very critical to all the work that we do here. Automatically, small self reacts and defends, and you and I, because we're so committed to this higher self being, we resist it. We make it wrong. We get mad. In our own mind, we say, gosh, there I go again. You know, I thought I would be really good today, but man, you know, I just got back from visiting my family in Louisville, Kentucky. I literally flew back in yesterday. So I went to Miami to do a keynote engagement just like this one, except yours is online. But I went there in person for a major company out of Italy, hired me to do a keynote presentation. On the way back, I decided to stop off in Kentucky to see my family. Now, when you don't have a lot of time with your family, you only have the good thoughts about your family. And that's your expectation. Like, oh man, I can't wait to spend good quality time with my mother. Can't wait to see my brothers. I live 3,000 miles away. To be there, this is going to be awesome. And it wasn't.
Right. Oh man, really?
Well, I'm exaggerating, but I'm doing it for effect.
It worked.
Yeah, in reality, you know, when I look at the whole of it, it was awesome, and I can't wait to go back. But when I look at the moment by moment, it's real life. You know, my mother is my mother, and my mother isn't the way I think my mother should be. Now, listen. That's very one-sided of me. I am certain my mother had glorious thoughts about her number one son coming home. Number one just being not the oldest. Coming home to visit on my birthday, by the way. And I'm sure that I'm not exactly the way she'd want me to be either, but she's not going to say it out loud, just like I didn't say it out loud. Now, here's the point. Don't get stuck with my story. We're going to use my story to make a point. And the point is, in those moments when I wasn't being this, I was pushing against or making wrong this small, limited guy who thought it should be some way that it wasn't. You see, life shows up the way life shows up. I don't have to tell you that. You know that. But what you may not know is you and I have a tug of war with it just about every day, as though we're going to win.
Right.
And we're not. Ever. In fact, it's going to get us in the end. So, in those moments, what I did, what I want to train you to do, is in those moments, I let go. I want you to write down, I let go. And we're not saying I let it go. What am I saying?
I let go.
I let go. Small self wants to know, let go of what? But we're not going to talk to him right now or her.
I'm scared though. Maybe we take a break sometime. I don't know.
What, you need a break?
No.
No, I was just
I was
saying.
going to say, we just started.
Yeah, we're just started.
I'm kidding. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
it's break time, Thomas.
Okay, well, I thought I heard somebody say I need a break. I was like, oh, okay.
No.
I was like, okay, but we just started. Okay, so here I am. I get in my mother's car. I'm being great. My mom says what mom says, and all of a sudden I'm like, ugh. And now I'm over here. What do I let go of?
Try it again.
Okay, I'm being my higher self because I can't wait. I land, I'm getting into my mother's car. My mother says something, and all of a sudden, I'm weighted down, and now I'm being this small self over here with a point of view, being right about mom shouldn't have said that, or the way she said that, or the way she, looks, or whatever the thing is, you know, just life. And I'm saying now, let go. What do I let go of?
Resistance?
Resisting what?
Wanting it my way.
Okay, very good. So I'm letting go of resistance. That is the game. I let go of, hear me clearly now, because resistance is big. I want to narrow it down. I'm letting go of making the little guy wrong. If I let go of making him wrong for points of view, I'm now free to align with the higher self again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
See, if I'm unwilling to let go and I make it wrong, like, darn, you know, this is what it looks like in my head. I don't know about your head, but in my head, it's like, oh, darn, I want it so bad to have these couple days be great for my mom. And now I'm an asshole. What am I going to do? You know, how am I going to work this out? And I get all dug in. That's making wrong the small self versus, oh, that was just my small, limited self. Boom. I'm back. I said the wrong thing. I'm back. I did it the wrong way. I'm back. That is the game here. The game is letting go. But letting go sounds much simpler than it is, because right now you're in good shape. Nothing's happening. You know, you're going to feel good when we get done, and there's going to be a lot of higher self over there in that room until you get home. Or until you get in your car and you have to realize, oh, I'm sharing the road with other people. And these
someone
people
pulls
have
out.
life.
There's a tree.
Somebody's tailgating you.
Yes, exactly. Those real life things come back and you say, what's that Kuster talking about? He doesn't have a clue. If he was in my world, he'd understand you can only let go sometimes, you know. But I am going to work with you on what it's like to let go different than any other way you've let go in your life. Kinda. Because given that Tabetha teaches yoga, yoga is a direct connection to the let go that I'm going to talk to you about. So I'm going to let go of points of view, yes. But I want you to consider that every point of view lives in the body. Now, I know this might sound weird, and I don't want it to be way out there for you. And if it is, tell me, and I'll pull it back in. But I want to give it to you the way that it actually works. Because that's why you're here. You want to walk away with something that adds to everything you already have that works. Truth?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So what we're going to do is an exercise together. And I'm going to ask you, if you will, just to take a pencil or a pen. And I'm going to ask you to stand up and just have the pencil or pen in your hands. You might put your papers down.
Just a minute.
Yeah, take your time.
We're gonna get some.
Only the pen?
Ready?
Ready.
All right. So now I want you to hold that pen or pencil in one hand. It could be your left or your right, I don't care. And I want you to feel that pencil in your hand. So I want you to grip it. And if you need to close your eyes to feel it, I want you to feel it in your hand. I want you to feel what your fingers feel like holding that pen. And now I want you to feel it in your forearm. what it feels like to hold that pen. Allow yourself now to feel all the way up into your shoulder what it feels like to hold that pen. Remember, you're holding it on one side. You can always compare, like what it feels like on this side compared to the other, perhaps. Feel it in the body. Now switch hands. And just like you did on the other side, I want you to really feel it. Feel it in the forearm. Feel it all the way up into your shoulder. So in the body, this is what it feels like to hold on. And now I'm just going to ask you to let go and just drop the pen or the pencil. Yeah, very good. Now, I know you didn't come for aerobics because now I'm going to ask you to pick it back up. And now this time, before we drop or let go, I want you to be very focused on what it feels like in your body letting go of that pen or pencil. And go ahead and do that now. Feel it in your body and let go. Perfect. Now pick it back up and sit down. You can go ahead and sit back down. Now, that exercise, I'm going to ask you to do it every day for the next 3 days. And you can do it as many times as you need. I have some people who tell me that it's better for them if they pick up something heavier so they can really feel it in their body. So whatever you choose to do for the next 3 days, 1 time a day, just practice. I want you to get in touch with, this is what it feels like in the body. Now, an argument that small self would have is, yeah, but my points of view are not in my body. They're in my mind. They are stories, they're thoughts, they're conversations. All of that is true. But this part that I'm going to tell you now that you might want to write down will alter the rest of your life. It's a logical statement, but we're making it emotional now. The body is the vehicle through which you experience life. The body is the vehicle through which you experience life. Is there any other way, hear me closely, is there any other way to experience life other than through the body?
No.
There's just not. So everything we do has to come through this thing, the body, so we can feel. So your purpose in life is to experience life. That is, feel. And when I talk about feel, I'm not talking about a noun, like emotions or feelings. I'm talking about a verb. Like in this moment, you feel. What are you feeling? Well, let's get in touch with what you're feeling. I want you to bring your awareness, and by the way, awareness is the flashlight of the mind. See, whatever I become aware of, that awareness doesn't make that thing real. The thing was already real. I was just unaware. I bring the flashlight of awareness to that thing, whatever it is, like we brought the flashlight of awareness to the pen in your hand, to your forearm, to your shoulder, so you could feel it, right? Until that moment, you just picked up a pen. All those feelings were there, but you were not aware of them because you just had a pen. You get me?
Yeah.
So we are going to use awareness as a way to get in touch with what it is to let go as a practice. And we learn to feel in the body. And this is what I want you to feel for. Oh, wait a minute, I got ahead of myself. Erase that. I feel like I didn't say it. In your chair right now, I want you to bring awareness to your butt in the chair and the gravity pulling you to the ground. So just bring your awareness to gravity pulling you to the ground. I want you to feel it, like really. Thank you for doing that. And continue feeling that, but while you're feeling that, I want you to feel the fabric of your clothes against your body. Bring your awareness to the fabric against your body, against your skin. Just feel it. See, there's no story about it. You don't have to say it feels like. No, you just feel it, right? You can feel it. Now feel the air in the room as it touches your bare skin. You can feel that, right? So the body is the vehicle through which we experience life. We experience that which we bring awareness to. We have no experience of what we're not aware of, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. Truth? Very good. We're going to do a very simple meditation. Don't worry, you're not going to have to hum, sing, jump around, nothing. You don't even have to close your eyes. In fact, I'm going to ask you to start this meditation with your eyes wide open. And I would like for you, if you will, just get aware of seeing happening. Notice color. Notice texture. Notice shapes. Seeing is happening. My question to you is, does it take any thought, any thinking on your part to see that which is already there?
No.
It doesn't, does it? From it being there and you seeing it, does there seem to be any time delay?
No.
None at all, right? So we could say feeling is simply happening. It's happening without thought. There's no decision on your part. If your mind thinks it decided to see, then stop seeing right now. Seeing is happening on its own, and it's always happening, and it's never not happening. And you don't have to do anything but bring awareness to it. Now move your awareness to hearing. You can hear the sound of my voice. And if I stop speaking, you can hear other sounds around you. And I'm inviting you just to notice hearing happening. Does it take any thought or decision on your part to hear sounds that are already there? I couldn't hear you. Does it take any thought or decision to hear sounds that are already there? No. And between the hearing a sound and the sound happening, does there seem to be any time delay?
No.
No. Hearing is simply happening. It's happening on its own. It does not require anything from you. And if your mind argues with that, then stop hearing right now. You cannot, because hearing is happening, and it is never not happening. Now we're going to move our awareness back to feeling. You can feel sensations in the body. You might even feel a wiggling or a jiggling of your nervous system as you're sitting there. Bring your attention, if you would, just to feeling in the body. Be sure to breathe. So just like seeing and just like hearing, feeling is happening on its own. It requires no thought. It requires no decision. It requires no effort. And it seems to happen outside of time. Hearing, seeing, and feeling are all happening. Now, my question, and this is one of those way out there questions, but be with me. My question is, who or what is experiencing the hearing, the seeing, the feeling? Who or what? Real question, not rhetorical.
Me.
Me? Very good. Anybody have a different answer? Okay. Now, stay with me. If it's I that's experiencing the seeing, the hearing, the feeling, then who or what is experiencing me?
You.
You make me come through this camera. Yeah, stay in, just stay, thank you. But try to stay in the context of it. Like, really, it's a real question. If I am experiencing the seeing, the hearing, and the feeling, then who or what is experiencing the I?
Your mind.
Your higher self.
Perhaps. For this moment, we'll say higher self. What I am going to say to you is that I'm not giving you a definitive answer. It is a question that I invite you to engage in day after day after day until you forget about it, because you will. But while you're able, as you ask the question, it will open some things up that were not open before. And again, I have nothing definitive. Do you understand? It's going to be personal to you. You will have a personal experience of your own. And whatever that experience is, it's a valid experience. Because you see, the body is the vehicle through which we experience life. But who is it that's experiencing the life? Nothing to answer, just kind of be with that, okay?
It's whoever we created ourselves to be.
Well, that might be. Like I said, there's nothing definitive. Allow it to be just your own investigation. And I do ongoing webinars. If any of you choose to join me on those webinars, you might share what you saw. And as you hear other people share what they see, it will open up new opportunities of how to experience life. But ultimately, here's what you'll get. You'll become more identified with the higher self, and you'll develop a tremendous amount of compassion for the small self. If I have compassion for this little guy, or for you, that little lady, if I have compassion, then I have freedom to be who I really am. And when I am who I really am, the experience of life, no matter what's happening, do you get that? If I'm getting tailgated, if I get hit, whatever's happening, who I am in the matter is experiencing life and not resisting it and not making it wrong. Because do I know better than life? No, I just act like I do. That's why we fight with it every day. Like, it should be different than it is. I'd like to leave you with, it is what it is. Who am I going to be in the matter of it? I cannot make life happen. Can I change circumstances and create circumstances? Sure I can. But ultimately, life has the say. I don't. Truth?
True.
True, but you have the opportunity to respond rather than to react.
Well, that's it. You get to say who you're going to be in the matter of it.
Exactly.
And
How are you being
that's
in that
right.
situation?
And instead of making it too broad, we'll say, or actually we'll make it broader, we'll say higher self or small self. Who am I going to be?
Mhm.
Higher self says all points of view are equal. Life is happening, and my job is to practice honoring life unfolding. I want you to write that down. Practice honoring life unfolding. What is honor? What is honor? If I say to you, honor life unfolding, what is honor?
Respect.
Say it again, sorry.
Respect.
Respect. It's to hold in high regard. So I'm saying, in this course, I'm saying to you that we are to practice holding life in high regard. And when I say life, I don't mean life like a timeline. Like, for instance, I'm born, a lot of stuff happens, and I die. That's a timeline life. When I say hold life in high regard, that's not what I'm talking about. Even though this is one way people talk about life. We talk about the timeline, right? If I said, so Tabetha, how's life? Well, I've been doing this. It's been good. I've been doing that. Timeline. That's how we talk about life. And by the way, I'm not suggesting we shouldn't talk about life that way. I'm merely distinguishing what I'm talking about right now. And what I'm talking about is, stay with me, those billions, maybe trillions, those trillions of little explosions of energy that are taking place over there where you are at the quantum level that exudes consciousness and has you present right here, right now. Is that cool or what?
That's amazing.
It is amazing. And that is life. And aliveness is experiencing my existence with no resistance. That's aliveness. I'm experiencing my existence with no resistance, and that's aliveness. And the practice that has aliveness possible is letting go. Letting go of the fight. Letting go of the holding on to something like it's going to control life. I can make many, many choices, and I recommend to have many, many goals and to play many, many games. But if any of those choices, if any of those goals, if any of those games don't exist inside of a context for aliveness, then they're worthless. Absolutely worthless. You can have tons of money, tons of power, but if it doesn't exist in the context of aliveness, then at the very personal level, right here in the person's heart who's living that life, it's empty. And you would not be here if you were committed to empty. You're here because you're committed to some kind of aliveness, distinct and different from the everyday ordinary that you and I have grown up inside of. Truth?
True.
So now I've done a lot of talking, and I want to give you an opportunity, and there's no right thing here. I just want to give you an opportunity to kind of unload. So there's all this stuff, right? Some of it's sticking, some of it went over, some of it's way under, some of it you have judgment about and you don't agree or you agree. Whatever it is, I promise you, all of it's relevant. And it's important to engage together at some level in order for this to be real and to be yours. So I want to open the floor for your engagement. And with very little direction, by the way, because you can talk about anything that we've done so far, just so I can help you tease it out before we move on.
Have any questions or?
Nothing? Okay. Because what we're going to now go into, so there's nothing at all, there's no...
We have one person who has a comment, Thomas.
Beautiful, thanks.
I was just gonna make a comment about the challenge of letting go.
Yes.
How easily it is to forget, to get triggered by something and then to forget that you can take some breaths, get yourself grounded and let go. It's like, oh, what a novel idea. I wish I would have thought about that like a couple of hours ago.
Right, right. So, thank you for that. What are we going to let go of? I'm so glad you brought that up because, you know, I took a left turn. So that it becomes easy. Because you're right. In every moment of now, if I get triggered and I get hooked by something, that hook drags me for a while before I realize, oh, let go. The hook doesn't have me, I have it. You know, like that. It takes a little time sometimes for we realize. So where we're going to go to let go is in the body. So how triggers and hooks show up in the body are by contraction. So remember earlier we practiced feeling the gravity and feeling the air and stuff. So now I just want you to feel contractions in your body. Any tension or contraction in your body. And just say out loud where you feel any contraction or tension in your body.
Everywhere. My shoulder blades.
Your shoulder blades. So Tabetha, would it be back here?
Yes.
Okay.
Right in my thoracic.
Yeah. And is it painful or is it just contracted?
Just contracted.
Just contracted. Very good. Somebody else, where do you feel contraction in the body?
Neck. My neck.
Neck. Oh, and is it painful or is it just contracted?
Both.
It is both. Okay, very good, because we're going to work with that a little differently. And anybody else? You feel it somewhere else?
Mine would be more like in your chest, almost that panic feeling.
Oh, got it. Okay. And is it painful or just contracted?
Heavy.
It's heavy. Got that. Speaking of which, higher self feels light and free. Small self feels heavy and trapped. That's how it feels. You know, so when we're looking at what am I going for, it's light and airy. So very good. So it feels heavy there. So now, versus trying to let go of a problem or let go of a trigger, we're going to practice ongoing letting go of the contraction. So Tabetha, we'll start with yours because it's the most common. The most common area that people hold stuff is right around the shoulders. So it's from the shoulder blades all the way up to right about here. That's pretty common. And it usually has compounded over years. Like it didn't just happen today. You didn't wake up this morning and say, oh, wow, I'm really contracted in my shoulders. No, you live, yeah, you live that way until it hurts. Then you go and try to do something about it, or you practice your positions, you know, whatever you need to loosen it up. I want to support each of you in letting go before it ever has to get to that point. And what you're letting go of are contractions and tension in the body. So we breathe into the area gently. We acknowledge its presence, not to make it wrong. Do you understand? So Tabetha, you're not like, okay, go away, stop it, stop, I want to feel better. Because if I struggle to feel better, what is that? That's resistance. See, because my body is feeling what my body's feeling. My job is to experience it. That's my job. Not resist it, not push it away. Get it. So like I'm going to get, oh, I'm holding points of view. Everything's a point of view. I'm holding something right there. It could have been a fight you had with your husband, boyfriend, whatever you got going on yesterday, and you didn't even realize you were still holding on to it. So you're just going to breathe gently into the area to acknowledge it. And the young lady who's her neck, it's a little different because you see, you're going to try to make your neck feel better. And you're going to have to distinguish the two with me, okay? You have pain and you have contraction. Letting go of the contraction will eventually relieve the pain. But if you try to relieve the pain, that's resistance. You understand? And it's going to make it last longer. Am I making sense to you?
Right.
So you're just going to separate it in your mind like there's pain, there's contraction. I'm breathing into the contraction. Why? To acknowledge its presence. And every time I breathe into it, I'm letting go, letting go, letting go. I still have pain, but I'm not going to be wrong about the pain. I'm just going to acknowledge, well, of course, there's pain. I've been holding on so long. So now that I practice letting go, eventually the pain starts to dissipate. Now, this does not mean, I always have to say this, okay? This does not mean that you might not have a problem with your neck, okay? This is not a replacement for, hey, I broke my neck, and I'm going to say, breathe into your neck and let it go. No. Okay, good. I want to make sure you know that I'm not crazy. All right.
We did sign the waiver before we started.
Oh! Yay. Okay. And now I want to address the heart area. Now, this is a very special place. It's a very special place because, you know, when we use the word heartache is real. Heartache is real. And it's held right here in the heart space. And why is it there? Well, we hold it there because many, many, many moons ago when you were a child, we made up that if I hold it here, I am safer. So every time we have a heartache, it gets a little more contraction because we think we're protecting ourselves more. Does this make sense?
Yes.
You hearing me?
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Sure.
Okay. So letting go in this area causes a threatening feeling. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to let go anyway, but I just wanted to let you know that you will feel threatened. What's the threat? The threat is I'm no longer protected. But the protection is an illusion.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
So as a human being, we get tied up in those areas, right? As a therapist, you know that. You know that people live in a dichotomy. It's like I'm holding on so tight to protect me, but the very protection is killing me. So you're just going to breathe gently into that area. and you're just going to gently let go. And as you experience the threat, however that occurs for you, you'll just remind yourself that you're committed to aliveness. And that is enough reason to confront the feeling of threat. And by the way, it's just a feeling. There's really no threat. It's a feeling. It's just a feeling. We just let go, let go, let go. Now, you guys, here's my promise, my personal promise to you. If you practice this letting go in that one area, just that one area, ongoing for the next week, I promise you an alteration that I can't even tell you what it's going to look like, but it will be real for you. Like it will be experientially real for you. You will feel more higher self-identified more often. Doesn't mean this guy's not going to show up. Of course, he or she is just as important, but this is the life that we're committed to. Follow? This has weight. It pulls for something. This waits for us. This, if you settle, will always be there. This you climb for. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. Anything you want to say?
No, well, yeah, I guess there is. You got it when you said, of course, there's pain. You've been holding on too long.
Yeah.
There's the statement. Of course there is.
Yeah. Yeah, right on. I'm going to read to you guys a document. It's called the Open Heart Project. And tell me if it got included in that email that I sent you, Tabetha, because I don't know. It looks like this.
I don't think it did.
Okay. Well, don't sweat it. I'm going to generate it. I'm going to make sure you have a copy of it. And you make sure that these folks get a copy of it if they choose to have it, okay?
Okay.
The Open Heart Project. Focus on what it feels like when your heart is open. What does it feel like when it's closed? Generally, emotions of happiness, joy, excitement, etc. are connected to an open heart, while sadness, heaviness, depression, blame, shame, guilt might be connected to a closed heart. Feel it. Just feel it. What does it feel like? Get in touch so that you can be responsible for it being open or closed. How do you open the heart? You breathe into the heart space. This is using your imagination because, of course, when you breathe, you're breathing into your lungs. But from a spiritual point of view, imagine breathing into the heart space. Let go, give up any emotion that lends itself to shutting down, and give up the right to analyze it. That is chewing on thoughts. Just open and feel it. Open and feel it. Open and feel it. The root of most of our mind in the matter of closing the heart is shame. Some form of shame. And if you drill down far enough, what it really is fundamental fear. Let go. Practice letting go. If you let go a little, you get a little more peace. If you let go a lot, you get a lot more peace. Eckhart Tolle believes we create and maintain problems because they give us a sense of identity. Perhaps this explains why we often hold on to pain far beyond its ability to serve us. We replay our past mistakes over and over again, allowing feelings of shame, regret, shape our thoughts and our actions. We cling to frustration and worry about the future, as if, hear this clearly, we cling to frustration and worry about the future as if the fixation somehow gives us power over it. We hold stress in our minds and bodies, potentially creating serious health problems. And we accept that tension as normal. There will never be a time when life is simple, because life is life. There will always be time to practice being with that and letting go of trying to control it. Every moment is our opportunity to let go and let peace replace the fear. Let go of frustration with yourself and with life. Let go of anger, let go of bitterness. Let go of past relationships and let go of stress. Letting go of our self-concept. That is the story about yourself. You have a story about yourself you walk around with. You know, let that go if you can. It's false. It's not real. The objective of letting go is the elimination of limiting mental and emotional programs. It's the attainment of an unconditional mind and ultimately transcendence of the mind into greater states of consciousness. So that is the Open Heart Project, because ultimately, see, in the 7 elements, we first learn these 2 worlds, higher self, small self. And then we start to get in touch with where we hold things. So Tabetha, you hold here. Mom, you hold here. The other young lady, I'm sorry, I can barely see you, by the way. I can only see half your face, but that's okay. You're holding more in your neck, you know. I personally hold in my gut, and a lot of people hold in their gut. Wherever you hold things, that is your feeling habit. See, you have a habit of holding it there. Who knows why you started holding it there? It doesn't even matter. It's just yours. So we can't treat everybody like they're the same. People hold different areas for different reasons. You know, if you ever think about going back and looking why you might hold it where you hold it, you might get some answers. It just won't make any difference. That's all. Like I know I hold in my stomach because when I was a child, my uncles used to tickle me to death. And I do mean to death. Like I would have rather been dead than to have to go and be with them again, because for me it was torture. So my stomach became the place where I hold anything that's uncomfortable. Now, the game is to let go, let go, let go, just like breathing. I don't question my next breath, I just take it. I don't question letting go, I just do it. And because the habit is here, I know that for the rest of my life, I can let go here, and guess what happens? I get free from my points of view. It's automatic, you guys. The work to get to the higher self, I promise you, is that simple. All the processing, thinking, talking, evaluating, all helpful, but quite frankly, if I can practice using my body first, before I know it, all the stories I can let go more quickly. And then I find myself more often identified with this higher self and compassionate for the one that's trapped. See, that little boy who got tickled is still here. I can't pretend like he's going anywhere. He's still going to get frightened and all of a sudden I'll gird up. Of course. But I practice when I don't need it. So when that happens, I can naturally let go, you see? You don't just practice when you're burdened. You practice ongoing. Let go. Is there always something to let go of? Yes. That's the beauty of being alive. There's always something to let go of. Anything? Any questions? Any comments? Anything at all before I move to love? And that'll be our final element that we'll talk about today. And then I'll give you some closing remarks. But everything we've done lays the foundation for love. Anybody, anything?
So in your webinars, Thomas, you go in deeper to each of those different elements?
Yes. What happened? So during the heart path, I try to give you the foundation and work that you can leave with that will make a difference immediately.
Mhm.
And then I'll touch on each of the elements. And then the series of webinars, we take on one element at a time and we dig into it.
Mhm.
So the
And
answer
are
to your
those
question,
weekly webinars that you do, or is it
Say it again?
weekly webinars?
yeah. I sent you an email. You probably didn't get it because I didn't send it until this morning.
Oh, okay.
That gives the dates. I'll read through them before we finish.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into love. If anybody has anything, you interrupt me because this is for you. I'm here for you.
Let's get it.
Okay?
Good? We're good.
All right, good. As I talk about love, it will open up a can of worms in a room of people. And I don't doubt that it will open up things over there with you. The element of love, just like everything that you'll see in the elements, I create two particles, two sides. One side of love I call counterfeit. Now, you could call it ordinary love, and I might change it to that because counterfeit immediately has people, it brings up something for people like, fake, etc. And it is. But it's so the norm for us that it can push up against something over there where you are. I'm inviting you to let go of whatever might come up just to hear what I'm saying and see what you can do with it. And then you can argue with me if you need to. But let it go while I'm delivering it if you can. The everyday, ordinary love that you and I know and practice, I call counterfeit love. Why is it counterfeit love? It's counterfeit love because it satisfies only the small self. See, the small self has absolutely no interest in you loving you. It has no interest in real love. What it has interest in is being accepted. So it always has its lights on, looking for who will include me, who will accept me, who will love me. It's always looking from the outside to pull in. It cannot, small self has no ability to come from inside out. Follow me? So therefore, counterfeit love, or the everyday ordinary love, is steeped, S-T-E-E-P-E-D. It is steeped in conditions, both spoken and unspoken. It is the most conditional kind of love. It's romanticized, it's needy, and it's pretentious. Not pretentious like pretentious. It's pretense driven. Like I am going to pretend to be one way versus my true self in order to get more of what I think I want. Is this landing?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my full-time practice right there in a nutshell.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's what people deal with most, right?
Yeah.
Really, really. The other side of love, some people will refer to it as agape love, a godly love. I refer to it here as life energy. It is the highest level of freedom that could ever be experienced. It has no conditions. It has no boundaries. Now listen, for the everyday, ordinary, small self, that is a scary thought. Why is it scary, do you think? No conditions, no boundaries. Why do you think it would be scary for small self?
The risk of loss.
Loss and not getting what I think I need. See, if If I live in counterfeit all the time, then I need, and I'm constantly in search of what I think, quotes, what I think I need, versus everything is already and always available, and the only access to it is to let go of counterfeit and get in touch with this agape kind of love, this aliveness, if you will, this willingness to be with life the way life is dealt and to dance with it. Doesn't mean we don't need each other, but here's what happens. When you give yourself to that kind of love, then when you need others, you don't just need them for you, you need them for them. Now, stay with me, because the only model that I have ever been able to express for that kind of love is mother and child. And when I say mother and child, I do mean in the most normal, the best normal mental state, okay? Because we have people who are mothers that never really could be a mother, you follow? And we have children that could never really be a child. But if they are being what we would say is the most normal, then that experience happens because the child needs mother. But the needing of mother fulfills mother's need. Mother loves child, but that love for the child fulfills a need in the mother. You follow me?
Yeah.
That's agape love. And it seems impossible to have that kind of love for a stranger. That alone, have that kind of love for your spouse or your friends. But I'm telling you that in the work that we do here, I say we can tolerate nothing less than that. This is our life. This is it. And as far as we know, we get one time around. As far as we know. And our job, because you're now aware of it, is to live in service of aliveness. And what does aliveness look like? It looks like being more identified with the higher self while having compassion for the small self. The actions I take is to bring honor to life unfolding and to let go moment by moment by moment by moment. So here's what we've touched on. We've touched on element 1, self. We touched on element 2, love. I spoke indirectly about energy when we talked about you sitting in the chair and you experiencing the pull of gravity of your body to the floor. We spoke briefly about feeling, which is number 5. We have not touched on duality, and we won't today, because it is a whole evening of its own, and it's very, very powerful. And we won't touch on faith today, because it too is very, very powerful. But we did skim it by talking about the practice of honoring life unfolding. Now, I want to give you a world of forgiveness, and then I'll wind down. There's ordinary forgiveness, and that ordinary forgiveness is very important for human beings. You know, Tabetha, you hurt my feelings. And I said, gosh, Tabetha, you really hurt my feelings. And you say, Tom, I'm sorry. Really, I apologize. And I say, okay, thank you. It's complete. That's very important for our relationship, right? It gives us the opportunity in language to have something be reconnected, no distance between us. That's one kind of forgiveness. And it's not the kind of forgiveness I'm talking about. It's just an ordinary forgiveness, and it's necessary. The kind of forgiveness that we teach here at the Quantum Evolution is quantum forgiveness. And quantum forgiveness is this energy, if you will, that's already and always available for me, independent of you. Like, you know, I might do something and you forgive me. Thank you for forgiving me. But the fact that you hold the keys to my forgiveness gives you superiority. You may not use it that way, but it is that way. You have some domination. You get to say, yes, I forgive you, or no, I don't. That's ordinary forgiveness. You follow? Quantum forgiveness says, you are forgiven. You are forgiven. In quantum forgiveness, you cannot earn it. You don't deserve it. It is yours because you step into it. And listen, the people who step into quantum forgiveness do it in the spirit of it, not as a tool to get something. Those are two different worlds. We'll distinguish that at another time. I just want you left with, you are forgiven. And anything you've drug into this present moment that you're holding in your shoulder blades, or that you might be holding in your heart area, or that you might be holding in your neck, I want you to know you are forgiven. And it is your right to let go. Not so you can behave in any negative way again in the future, but so that you can be who you really are. And you can't be that if you can't accept that you really are free and forgiven. So that's the 7 elements. In a nutshell, what you'll walk away with is self for sure, and you'll walk away with some element of love. The practice of honoring life unfolding and letting go at the level of contraction is connected to the freedom necessary to operate as your higher self. Any questions or comments in the moment? Are you getting value? I think you're frozen. Oh, you're not frozen.
It's a frozen screen.
Okay.
Powerful work. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I asked, are you getting value?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
It's absolutely phenomenal. I just want to thank you, and what a privilege it's been to be with you. Most definitely.
Well, don't run me off yet, because I'm not quite.
No.
I'm almost
gonna
done.
hold you here as
I'm
long as I
almost
can.
done.
Hold you hostage. We have a room in the back we are planning on putting you in.
Oh, yay! That's what I need, is another cage. Well, this I emailed to you. Can you see that on the screen?
Yes.
And I'm just going to go through it briefly with you guys and let you know what I have available and see if there's anything that you might want to participate in. I have what's called Living the 7 Elements. It is 4 webinars, and those webinars are roughly 90 minutes. They can be anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. They are April 5th. You don't have to write these down because, Tabetha, you have them.
Okay.
They're April 5th, April 12th, April 17th, and May 3rd. These are all Thursdays. Each class is about an hour to an hour and a half long. If you guys register, let's see, today is Saturday. If you register by end of day Monday, it's $50 for the totality. After that, it's $75. The next major program is called the Quantum Shift. And the Quantum Shift is an all-day program from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on a Saturday. The next one is March 10th. This is the good news and the bad news. It's also followed by 3 webinars that fulfill on that course. But that Saturday has to be done in person. So that means you'd have to fly to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Now, if you flew to San Francisco, I'll put you up and I'll feed you. But it's $495, but if you register by Monday, it's half price. And then lastly, I am an aliveness coach. What I do individually with people is customize practices and work with them on those practices to have them being more identified with the higher self and developing compassion for the small self. If you decide to take advantage of one of my packages, you get 20% discount through Monday, the end of day. There are two specific packages. One is the basic package. That's 180 minutes. They do not expire, and they can be used minutes by minutes. In other words, sometimes we'll be together for an hour. Sometimes we'll be together for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It depends upon what we're dealing with. If I've already given you a practice and trained you in it, then we probably are doing 15-minute follow-ups to tighten up the practice, change it a little bit, things like that. Does that make sense? All the coaching packages are customized to the individual, what they're dealing with, and the life that they have. Nothing is strict in the way that it's designed. That 180 minutes is $495. With the 20% discount, it's $396. Then I have a deluxe, which is 360 minutes. Same thing, but it's $795. Register for it by Monday in the day at 6:36. That's everything there. And I think that actually does bring us to a close. And
So your webinars start on Thursdays?
Huh?
The webinars start on Thursday nights.
They are. If you guys come into the webinar, I will work out a different time because currently they start at 7 p.m. my time, which is 10 p.m. your time. So that would be too late. But if you guys decide to do that, I have other East Coasters who are looking at the program. I will make it earlier my time so that it's more like 7 o'clock your time. Make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry about the time. The only thing that you have to deal with is if you want to come to the quantum shift, which, by the way, you leave with an alteration of your experience of time, and you leave with an alteration of your experience of what the higher self is and how you get to it. It's an amazing, amazing day. Really an amazing day, but you have to come here. The San Francisco is a great
It's
place.
my birthday too.
Yeah, it's a great place to visit. So any final thoughts or any final questions before I complete with you?
Y'all got anything? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ladies, thank you. Thank you for being with me. It was really awesome. I enjoyed meeting you, and I hope to see you around in the near future.
Yep, I definitely want to schedule a follow-up call with you.
Absolutely, Tabetha. We'll do that.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. I'm staying on because my next client is up, and I'm going to ask you just to release me so that I can go on to that, okay?
We'll release you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Hey, have fun out there in North Carolina. Is it snowing?
No. Maybe tomorrow. Yep, it's 70 today.
No way. Okay.
80.
Well,
Yes.
enjoy the 80-degree weather. It might last a day.
Thank you.
All right, bye, guys.
All right, bye. Let's see here.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Thomas. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
I'm glad to hear it. We're just going to wait until they release that. That's on a live stream in a yoga studio in North Carolina.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I went ahead and muted her so we don't have to hear all of them. But yeah, it was fun. It was really fun being with them this morning.
That's wonderful. How'd you arrange that?
Well, I don't know if you recognize Tabetha's name or not, but Tabetha used to live out here, and she moved back to North Carolina with her family, and she owns a yoga studio, and she asked me if I could do a live stream of the Heart Path for them.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Very sweet.
So what I think I need to do, no, I think yours is going to be fine. Never mind. Yes, I do. I need to stop the recording. That's what I need to do. I need to stop their recording so I can start